Happy International Dance Day. Today I am with the artistic director of Istanbul State Opera and Ballet, Miss Ayşem Sunal Savaşkurt. It's a great pleasure to have her in our program. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy World Dance Day.
And I would like to congratulate all the ballet dancers in Istanbul State Opera and Ballet, and also in Turkey and around the world.
Thank you.
It's a great honor to welcome you to our program. So let me start. You are coming from quite an artistic family. So can you tell us, like, when you start dancing, and at what time, like, did you decide to become a professional dancer?
Actually, I was born into an artist family. It starts from my grandfather. He was an opera singer, and my father is a ballet dancer, as my father as well, my mother as well, and my sister also is a ballet dancer. So I was just born into a family that everyone is dancing. So I never had like I decide I'm going to dance. No, I was just always, I remember myself dancing. I mean, I always wanted to dance. So it was so obvious that I was going to become a dancer, although my family didn't want that I would become a dancer. But I never said I decided to dance. No, I was just dancing. Just for me, it was a natural thing to dance.
In the genes, I suppose.
I guess.
You studied in Hacettepe State Conservatory, and
Yes.
Later you decided to join the Royal Ballet of Flanders. Can you describe like your artistic journey, and would you please compare the ballet culture in Turkey and in Europe?
Actually, I didn't decide to go to Belgium. I was invited because when I finished school, when I graduated from the Hacettepe Conservatory, I joined the Ankara State Opera and Ballet. There they decided to send me to an international ballet competition to Osaka. That time it was very famous, that competition. So we were very young, and when we were sent, we were like, we didn't have the third tour. We have 3 tours, like first tour, if you pass second tour, and then third tour. Because me and my partner, we were just graduated very young, and we learned the competition like 15 days ahead. It was so we didn't really quite get ready. We were doing some galas, and that's why we choose the repertoire from the galas we did, but we had 2 pas de deux, so we didn't have the third one, and we didn't have the time. So they said to us, anyway, you will never be in the final. So they give me 1 point shoes, 2 tutus, and then they send us to Japan. So finally we passed the first tour. We passed the second tour. And we had to tell the jury, you know what, we don't have a third tour. So they said, okay, you can dance the same pas de deux as you did first tour, but we will give the points not from the top. We will give down because you're doing the same thing. But anyway, we were in the final, and we become in the first 15, and we were sent to gala to Paris. So we called Ankara and we said, you know, we are in final. We are going to Paris now. So, and that time, it's very funny that time Grishko, he just started to make his point shoes. And because they gave me 1 point shoes, my point shoes were over. I didn't have any more point shoes. So I wanted to buy one. And there they told me, you see, you can try this. So they just gave me as a present. So it's the first time I put the point shoes on, I saw it, and I went on stage with that shoes for the final, which I never used before. So anyway, there in the jury, there was the artistic director of Royal Ballet of Flanders. So after the finale, it was the like a big, huge cocktail after the finale. And he asked me and a Cuban girl, Xiomara Reyes, she did a great career as well. She asked me and her to join the company. So I told him, okay, I just signed a contract in Turkey, but I'm just a stagiaire, so I can ask. I would love to come, but I have to ask my family. So I returned back to Turkey, and they knew I wanted so much. They said, okay, anyway, if even if we say no, like I was joining conservatoire, I went into the exams without they knew, because they told me I was gonna study, So it was the same situation, and they said, okay, anyway, you're gonna do what you want to do. So okay, we'll support you. So my mom, like 2 months later, when all my papers were done, 2 months later, my mom bring me to Belgium, to Antwerp, and I start my career there. So it is very different, of course, because that time it was 1990, and Turkey was much closer. We didn't know so many things, so everything was so new for me. And
were there like another like Turkish dancer abroad at that time other than you?
Yes, not in that company, but it was like mostly the male dancers. They went to Germany. Like Mehmet Balkan was in Hanover. He helped me so much my first years, and always in my career he helped me a lot. I really thank him very much from here to Mehmet Balkan. So, and there was Uğur Seyrek in Stuttgart, and there was Tunç Sökmen in Stuttgart, but no woman. I think I was the first one who went out and stayed long, like as a solist and a prima ballerina, because there were some other people, they went, but they were back 6 months later, 8 months later. I think I'm the one who stayed longer and become a prima ballerina. So of course it was so different for me to get used to it. First year, first of all, I was very young, and so I had different friends for different cultures, many nationality in the company. We were 17 different nationality. So and I was like a homesick, of course. For 6 months, I was homesick. So my mom came often, my sister came often to support me. They were incredible. And so finally, I got used to it. And actually, when I was gonna go, when I was talking with my parents, they told me, because I could freeze my contract here in Turkey and go for a year and come back. So it was only for 1 year. But then it became 18 years I was there.
And
the difference is, you had another questions. Yes. What is so different? We had so many performances in Europe, lot of performances. And here it is the tradition that because we are opera ballet, we have 1 day in a week, 1 day for opera, 1 day for ballet. Like Monday is just for the stage to readjusting the stage, and Tuesday is for opera, and Wednesday is for ballet. So once or twice a week there are performances here. Not now in Sreya, because we are different now, but when I returned back, and it was before I went there, it was very little performances, and a lot of performances helped dancers so much. You learn a lot on stage. Like I always say, 1 performances is like 10 rehearsals. So I was so lucky. I was in a company that performed incredibly a lot, that we would do 160 performances, 180 performances a year. And I was guesting a lot also. So there were years I passed 200 performances. I think this is the most different thing for me, most difficult also for the dancers here, to do 2 performances, because when you're principal and when you are 3 principals, so there are like every week 2 or 1 performances, you do 2, and you wait the other to do, you wait another 2 to do. So it goes like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks you dance. It's a lot. You wait a lot, you rehearse a lot. So it's very difficult. And also that time, when we were studying in the school, we didn't know this arlequin floors. We didn't know what it was. So we were on the wooden floors. So everything.
Right.
So when I arrived there, of course, there was this floor. Like I thought this was ice skating. How am I gonna dance here? Of course, then I got used to it, and now we have everything. We have all this. We have, and as Istanbul State Opera and Ballet, we are waiting that the Atatürk Cultural Centrum, our opera house, will open again.
Next year, I hope. Like, do you have any estimates?
Yeah, that's what we heard, but now with this pandemic, we don't know how fast they're gonna go. We'll see.
And I hope, in opening activities, we might have one big international ballet gala. That would be perfect.
I hope we will see that. We will see. I think they are planning a opening week for that, but we don't know yet what's gonna be. I know that there's gonna be an big opera they are writing now. It's about Mimar Sinan. But the rest of the week, I don't know yet. Our general director will tell us.
In your career, you have danced pretty much all the major classical roles, and your Giselle received international recognition. Can I ask you which one was your favorite role to dance?
It's a very difficult question, because while you are dancing, whatever role it is, it's your favorite role. On that moment, if you're dancing Giselle is favorite role. On that moment, if you're dancing Swan Lake, you're Odette, it's your favorite role. But if I have to say, of course, Giselle is very special for me, because my career started with Giselle. Because I was not supposed to dance that evening, but our prima ballerina got injured, and I was very young. I was 7th cast of it. I was in the corps de ballet, and they told me that I was going to dance that night. They told me in the morning, and because we were on tour and all press was there, and next day they were saying, we were expecting a Cuban ballerina, but instead of we find a Turkish ballerina, which was amazing. It was the beginning of my career. So one evening that went like this. So that's why Giselle is very, very special for me. I like Juliet. I like to dance Juliet very much. I love to dance Nikia. I love them all. I cannot choose. But of course, Giselle and Juliet and Nikia is my favorite roles. And I love to dance also pas de deux or creations that are made for me.
So you like romantic ballets, basically, right?
Yes, I mean, they made me dance a lot of Don Quixote, a lot of Kitri, but of course it's very nice too. You have a lot of fun, you go for it, but the other ones has something fine, and I think. Yeah, they're all nice. When I was dancing Kitri, I love Kitri also. But it's difficult. I told you, it's a difficult question. I love them all.
Right. So, I think we also have a picture of you dancing Kitri. I can show you in a moment. By the way, you. Choreographed Sleeping Beauty and Don Quixote in Istanbul Ballet with a great success. Both of which I watched and enjoyed immensely. Can you tell us about your transition from a dancer to a choreographer?
Actually, it went so smoothly. Let's say not a choreographer, because my title is a head choreographer, because I'm the actually artistic director of the company when you translate exactly. From European companies. But here is a different name on it. So even if we are not a choreographer, sometimes we take the company over and we direct the company. So first I will tell my transition when I stopped dancing. That was I was almost 42 probably, and I was thinking to stop, but never really told myself I should stop or somehow. I never told about it, or I never told about teaching. So the director of the company that time called me and asked me, "Can you teach next week? You should teach." And I was like, "No, I have performance next week. I cannot teach." He said to me, "But you can do your performance and you can teach as well." So, why not? And I said, "No, not really, not now. I want to concentrate on the performance." He said, "Okay." And a couple of weeks later, one Friday, he called me and he said to me, "You're teaching tomorrow." I was like, "No." He said, "Yes." So I started teaching and I loved it. So it was amazing. So I loved it so much. So of course I worked on it and I had to choose because I had so much background with the director of Ballet of Flanders, with Robert Danvers, because he studied with Balanchine. So I had a Vaganova training from the school, but top of that I got the training of Robert Dances, which has a lot of Balanchine stuff in it, very quick, very fast, and dynamic, with lot of energy, lot of Bournonville jumps in it. And so I had to mix everything and find my way to teach. So finally I find my way, and then I was still dancing. Sometimes I would even teach before the performance, but I would dance, but I would teach everybody and dance the evening while I was teaching. I was doing the class. And then I really decided to stop dancing. And then they told me that I could take rehearsals also. I started to take rehearsals. While that time I moved to Istanbul, and then finally with one telephone call in the evening, very late in the evening, they asked me to become the head choreographer of the company. So I said yes, okay, I'll do it, because I have learned so much in Europe, so I have to transfer all this, and I wanted to change something.
Thank you so much for that. Transferring your.
I couldn't do everything I wanted, maybe slowly, but I wanted to just, what I learned, I wanted to transfer to the Turkish dancers. So I started this artistic director. I started to run the company, and then we have to stage ballets because that time I couldn't call anybody on that time, and I wanted to do one big classic ballet, and I know so much very well Sleeping Beauty. This is what I have to say also. I love to dance Aurora. Very difficult. It made me always nervous, but I love dancing Aurora. I told about
the most classical role.
It's very difficult, very. So I thought about Sleeping Beauty because I thought the whole company will just, go one step further. And I decided to stage by myself. So we cannot say I choreographed that. I can say that I staged that. I take the original choreography and I organized in a way for the dancers in Turkey, and
other stage as well.
Also, I had to take care of how many dancers I have. Maybe like in the bigger companies, they were doing 24 girls, but I did 18 girls. So I have to just to my company the production. So of course, when I was dancing, I danced the Nureyev version, very, very difficult, even more difficult. So that's why I had very much influence from it. So I took a lot from Nureyev. And so I just restaged, let's say restaging, not really choreography,
right.
Actually. Restaging. And I did it the year after, I did the same thing with Don Q. Of course, I danced Kitri a lot, so I know the ballet very well. So I always pick up the things that I danced a lot, because it's like in my body, I can show, I can make them see. And so that's why I restaged them. I only did choreograph Opera Carmen last summer for Aspendos. The dancers, the dancing in the opera, I choreographed that one. But I am not a choreographer. My title is choreographer, but actually I'm just a teacher, and I'm taking rehearsals and I'm restaging big productions.
You are like basically like doing everything. That also includes like a choreography as well. And can you like tell us about this like difficult times, like this like pandemics? How do you keep yourself like motivated, you and the artists? Like what are you doing these days? I saw some like online classes by like one of your principal dancers, İlke
Yes,
Kodal.
we organized that. She's wonderful. Um, First of all, I was shocked. Like all of us, we knew something was happening, but for me, it was gonna take 1 or 2 weeks, and everything gonna be back to normal. So it took me time to say, okay, this really is serious, and it will take time. So let's do something about it. And I'm somebody like really hyperactive, so I cannot stand 10 minutes in the same position. I already stayed a lot right now, the same position. So okay, we're going to be at home. What are we going to do? So while I was thinking, our director, Istanbul State Opera Ballet director, Suat Arıkan, he called me and he told me, okay, let's talk about it. We have to do something from our houses. I said, okay. So he did a couple of meetings with the rest of our colleagues, and we decided to keep the Instagram page alive all the time. And it really takes time. So because we have the opera and the orchestra and the ballet and the modern ballet department. So we all take our positions, and we just go back to our archives and make the publics be with the art while they're in their house. And it took a lot of time. While we were doing that, we say, okay, let's do live classes every day on the page. And I have a wonderful principal dancer, which is İlke Kodal, and a wonderful dancer again is Ebru Cansız. I talked with both of them, and they were very willing to do this. İlke already started on her page on Instagram, and she was doing wonderful. So I asked her. She said, yes, of course, I would love to do that. So right now there are 3 days of a classical ballet classes on our Instagram, which is Opera Ballet Istanbul, at Opera Ballet Istanbul, and the rest of the time it's the modern department doing classes, sometimes with conditions, sometimes Pilates, sometimes yoga. So it's like 3 days. Every 2 days is ballet, every 2 days is a modern department giving classes. So like this, there are 6 days a week, classes going on online, live. And beside that, what we are doing now, every day 3 o'clock, we do company classes from the Zoom. So for that classes, I invite my friends, my partners, so to teach the company. So they are really motivated, because I think the most difficult time right now, for whom it's very difficult, it is the dancers, because even if they work in their houses, it's very small, it's very hard to keep the condition. So to make them a little bit motivated, and that they would feel different things, they will meet different people. Like when I would want to call for a week, or for a reason that I could not call, there were some friends, some partners of me, years and years I want to call them, but I could not. So I called them, and my partner teach last week. Yesterday we do a class with Jungsun. Next week we have 2 surprises for the dancers. So one from Berlin, one from Astana Ballet. They will teach us. So so I wake up, we start organizing things for Instagram. So when we don't have guest teachers, I'm teaching that class from the Zoom to whole company, or my other teachers teaching. But right now, for the first 2 weeks, I told them. So when everything is finished, it's almost 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, oh my God, the day went by.
So,
I was thinking, how am I going to be at home? the time is not enough. The day is not enough for me. I need more time. So we are busy. We trying to keep busy, but I wish soon it will be over and everybody will pass these long days and difficult days healthy.
Let's just like on this like positive note with the wishes, and like there are like so many things that I want to talk with you, but unfortunately like we are approaching like to the like end of the broadcast.
I see. I talk much more than I told.
No. Thank you so much for this like wonderful interview. So it was a great pleasure like to have you.
Yeah, I just wish everybody will pass this difficult moment healthy, and soon we are back to our jobs, and also for the dancers we are back to our studios and on stage with public. We are back to the audience.
I hope so. Very soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.